For this skill, the supplies you will need are a transfer gait belt, a wheelchair, and the client's shoes. Make sure to check off these 18 skills as you go in order to complete this course. A step that is highlighted in red and bold type is called a critical element step. Critical element steps are important steps that must be performed correctly in order for you to pass the skill. If you leave out a critical element step or do not perform it correctly, you will not pass the skill. Good luck!
For this video, we'll be looking at skill 22, transfers a patient from the bed to a wheelchair. For this skill, the supplies you will need to gather are a gait belt or a transfer belt and your wheelchair. For this skill, don't bring the wheelchair all the way and set it up at bedside until you have your patient seated. We don't want to have to swing their legs over the wheelchair to get them seated. So starting this, good morning, Miss Megan. My name is Teddy. I'm your student nurse aide, and I'm here to take you for a ride in your wheelchair today, if that's okay with you. I'm going to see that you're private. Let's make sure that your bed is locked. We have you in the lowest position. We're going to start you off flat on your back for now. You have your call bell in your hand, and I will actually tuck that underneath your pillow by your left shoulder so we don't lose that when we're moving you around. I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands. And Miss Megan, I'm going to uncover you. I'm going to assist you to sit to the side of the bed, and then I'm going to have you put some shoes on, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and uncover my patient. Make sure to clear their feet. And again, I'm going to go palm to palm, hand behind her shoulder. 1, 2, 3. And then swing your legs off the side of the bed. Put your feet flat on the floor for me. And here are your non-skid shoes. Remember that we always have to check that the bed is safe before we move our patient away from the bed. So I'm going to do that second check now. Your bed is locked and you're in the lowest position. All right. So now that my patient is seated, I'm going to go ahead and bring my wheelchair to bedside, making sure that you lock both wheels. In order to lock the wheels on this wheelchair, there's a handle in front of the wheel. Push it all the way forward until you feel a hard click and see the brake engaged against the wheel. This is very important to put up your footrests before you move your patient. If your footrests are down when you're moving your patient to the chair, because we're backing them up, they can easily tear their ankles on the footrest. All right, Miss Megan, I'm going to have you give yourself a hug. This gets her arms up and away from her waist and makes it easier for me to get the belt on. Remember that for the gait belt, we always go with the seam side towards the patient. I'm going over the top of her head, and we always bring our buckle to the side to prevent injury. Again, as we learned in skill 3, coming behind the brake to come out in between the teeth and the brake, and we're going to work this around to our patient's side. Make sure that your belt is underneath their rib cage but above their hips. So now that I have the belt in position, I'm going to pull for tension as we've already learned and make sure my belt is tight. Does that feel okay, Megan?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm going to feed that down through the hole of the tail. That locks my belt. I will tuck it over, and now we are safe to move our patient. All right, so Megan's already on the edge of the bed for me. If she wasn't, I would ask her to scoot to the edge so it makes it easier for me to get to her knees. All right, Miss Megan, I'm gonna have you grab my elbows. You're gonna feel me touching you on the side of your belt, and we're gonna rock 3 times. On the 3rd time, I want you to stand, okay? Perfect. So I'm going toe to toe with her. I'm dropping my knees in and grab my elbows, and we're rocking. 1, 2, and 3. How you feeling?
Good.
Okay, I'm going to have you turn backwards and tell me when you feel the chair on the back of your legs. That is an important step. Go ahead and sit down for me. And then I'm going to have you shimmy your hips or scoot your hips to the back of the chair. We have to make sure that they can feel the chair before we ask them to sit so that they don't miss the chair and hit the floor or slide down in the wheelchair. That's also why it's important to ask them to slide their hips to the back so you make sure their back is flat against the chair. Go ahead and give yourself a hug, Miss Megan. Immediately take your belt before you worry about your feet rest. It is common for you guys to go for your feet rest first, and then generally you forget to take your belt off in the end. You can relax everything for me. Now, I'm going to put her feet into the feet rest, and I'm going to pick them up one at a time. Another common mistake is to come in and put both of your feet rest down at the same time. Also remember at this state, because facility floors are extremely contaminated, we can't kneel directly to the floor. So you want to squat or bend, and if you accidentally did touch your knee to the floor, please treat that as a skill correction and say you wouldn't have done it. So I'm going to put down my first footrest. I will pick up her foot, put it on the footrest for her. I will pick up her second foot, put that on the footrest for her, and then I'm going to roll her to reach her call belt. Now at this state, locking or unlocking the wheelchair is your choice. In a clinical setting, to lock a wheelchair is considered a form of restraint, but the state doesn't have a rule on that. So lock or unlock at the end is your choice. Would you like me to lock this for you?
Yes, please.
And then I will give her her call bell, and we're going to check. Your bed is locked. You're in the lowest position. Would you like your privacy reopened, Miss Megan? Perfect. Now I want to stop to think, did I do everything correctly? I feel good about my steps, so I'll say wash my hands and skill complete.